from the Armstrong School District. Tonight, we're going to learn about an amazing vehicle called the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau's Mobile Ag Lab. That's short for Agriculture Lab. And what is that? It's kind of a farming classroom on wheels that's coming to a school near you. It's making stops in the Armstrong School District, too. We're glad to have two members of the Armstrong County Farm Bureau to talk about it tonight. Bill Shaw and Val Houston, welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and give us some background?
Yes, my name is Valerie Houston. I am a member of the Armstrong County Farm Bureau. I'm on the board of directors, and the Mobile Ag Lab has sort of been a pet project of mine since we found out about it 5 years ago. We have worked for the last 3 years trying to get the lab in Armstrong County, and we have met goal, and the lab is under construction, and we are now in the process of trying to get the word out that the Ag Lab is available for all schools, whether it be private or public, for the entire western Pennsylvania region.
Good evening. I'm Bill Shaw. Along with Mrs. Houston, we belong to the Armstrong County Farm Bureau. Our County Farm Bureau has felt that the Mobile Ag Lab would help to educate children in the food and fiber angle of the education for their future interests and needs and career explorations. We'd like to thank the Armstrong School District and Dr. Kerr for allowing us to have this opportunity to bring the information to your program here this evening. The Mobile Ag Lab is ready to be on the road in fall of '08 in western Pennsylvania. We look forward very much to that opportunity becoming a reality. Thank you.
We thank you guys for being here too. What is the Mobile Ag Ed Science Lab?
The Mobile Ag Lab is a 40-foot long trailer that is a self-contained classroom that is taken from location to location by a vehicle that would be comparable to a dually type pickup truck from one school to another. It's at each school district for a period of 1 week. It has the capability of having a complete classroom of children to enter learning stations within the lab that is a classroom that is self-equipped with learning stations for children in K through 8, and they go through various learning experiences of food and fiber discoveries. It is completely handicapped accessible. It can be taken to public, private schools as well as different events such as the Folk Festival here in Armstrong County, county fairs that perhaps the extension offices would like to highlight agriculture in the various counties in western Pennsylvania. That's a summary of it. There are many more details that we could add. It comes completely equipped with a classroom teacher that is Pennsylvania certified by the Department of Public Instruction. The classroom teacher of the children that are entering the lab for the learning experience merely as a monitor for her classroom or his classroom of children. Perhaps there would be student aides to help assist smaller children through the learning experience that they have. There are various curriculum materials that are printed, also physical, tangible things that the children can have hands-on experiences as well. We could go on indefinitely with the pluses of those features, but essentially that would be the basic situation.
Really interesting.
Thank you.
Do you know when it's coming to the Armstrong School District?
Well, we're hoping right now we're in the process of getting in touch with the superintendents and the school boards within Armstrong County and letting them know that the lab is available. And right now we are trying to get the word out to let them know that the lab will be here and ready to start booking for the 2008-2009 school year. So if there's anyone out there that would be interested in sponsoring the lab, one other thing about the lab that I did want to mention, to add to what Bill had to say is there are 12 workstations in each of the labs that can handle 2 to 3 students at a time. And each of the experiments that the children will be doing will be geared to the grade level of the student. So you have the opportunity to have 5 to 6 50-minute classes within that trailer. And a school as large as Lenape might want to bring the lab in and have them there for maybe an entire grade. They could do maybe their entire 5th or 6th grade. Whereas a school maybe smaller, like Canning Township, would have the opportunity to bring the lab in and do the entire school, because each of the experiments would be geared to the grade level of the student. It does also meet the state mandates for science, technology, ecology, and environment.
In the lab, what do students experience?
In the lab, it depends on the grade level of the students. If it would be kindergarten through 1st or 2nd grade, it might be a walkthrough experience for the children to see the various workstations and the different types of farming grains or animals, and where the various food products come from, whether it be from pork or beef or poultry. The various grains of the corn, the wheat, the cereal grains especially, the various types of grasses that could be used for feed for livestock, or possibly in the future for the biofuels like switchgrass to be converted to the ethanol types of fuels. Also, the corn could be eventually processed to the biofuels. For the older students, I'll let Mrs. Houston talk about some of those features. There are various experiments that the students can complete while they're within the lab, with the opportunity to take home the product that they create from farm products, whether it be grains or different oils. Mrs. Houston?
Well, like Mr. Shaw had mentioned, the different experiments that the children have the opportunity to do would be geared to their grade level. One that seems to be pretty fascinating to almost all of them is that the children have an opportunity to plant a soybean in plaster of Paris at the beginning of the week. And then at the end of that week, that bean is sprouting through that rock-hard material. And a lot of the students, as well as the teachers, are pretty amazed by that. But the children have the opportunity to see that milk actually, or cream, produces butter. And what they've found out is pretty much we have been about 2 to 3 generations removed from the farm atmosphere, and a lot of children don't realize where their food comes from, and that is what's brought this program about. There was a gentleman who did a presentation in the classrooms, and he asked where their food came from, and the children actually said the grocery store or the drive-up window, and that's pretty sad. But for the older students, the kids actually get to participate in sort of like an investigation. They're given the opportunity to become detectives. They have a scenario where the people in the town are becoming ill, and they have to figure out what all these people have in common and then trace it back. And they work together as a group, find out what the problem is, and then try to figure out how to remedy this problem. And I don't want to give too much away in case the kids want to have the opportunity to do this.
How many students can use a lab at one time?
The lab has capabilities of 2 to 3 students at 12 stations. So you can have as many as 36 students at one time, and then the opportunity of 5 to 6 classrooms. So at the end of the week, you're looking at pushing it anywhere from 860 to 900 students. So it really has a huge capability.
That's a lot of kids.
Yes, it is.
Who teaches the classes?
The lab comes with an instructor, might be a gentleman or a lady teacher that is Pennsylvania certified by the Department of Public Education, to teach the instruction that is approved by the Department of Education guidelines. The classroom teacher merely acts as a monitor for his or her students as they pass through the lab during their learning experiences. Thank you.
What level does the Ag Lab target?
The primary target is actually 3rd to 7th grade, but they have the capability of kindergarten through 8th grade, primarily elementary school and the middle school. Right now they are developing new curriculum for the kindergarten and 1st grade.
How long does the Ag Lab stay in a particular school?
It comes to each school district for a period of 1 week. Generally it would arrive like on a late afternoon, evening on a Sunday, so it could be ready to go on a Monday morning for the school district it would be visiting. It stays there for a period of 5 school days. It requires to have electrical hookup from the school district and also a level parking area for the lab to be secure for the students entering and exiting from the lab. Generally at the end of the 5th day, the lab then is transported to another school district that is awaiting its arrival.
Is the Ag Lab used for only school visits, or can it be used to target other groups as well?
Actually, it started out that way as just for in the schools, but right now we are working with the Extension Office, trying to bring it into the Dayton Fair, and you're very familiar with that, being that you are the Fair Queen.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And we are also working right now with the YMCA, trying to see if we can get the lab in there for their after-school programs, or their summer programs that they offer. It's available to any number of organizations. All they have to do is call and reserve the lab. They do like to keep it in an area for a week, though. That is one stipulation that they, because of moving it.
The viewing audience also extends out beside Armstrong County, and it would provide the opportunity for the lab to be exhibited in the other counties that have summer occasions, like the Westmoreland County Fair, the Indiana County Fair, Clarion County Fair, etc., as well as other regions that are interested in highlighting it to feature agriculture in western Pennsylvania.
What is the cost to have the Ag Lab come to?
Right now, the cost is $2,300 a week. Through a grant that the PA Friends of Ag has acquired, they are able to reduce the lab down to $2,100 a week for the first 120 bookings. And we as a Farm Bureau have been trying to acquire monies, which we have had a wonderful, wonderful outpouring of support from Armstrong County. We have obtained some monies to offer scholarships to maybe some of the people who would like to bring it in that would not be able to come up with the full amount.
As Mrs. Houston mentioned, the people in Armstrong County especially have been very generous, whether they be individuals with small donations, companies, corporations. It's been wonderful to see the support that they have for agriculture or can recall from their earlier years as being a part of a farm family community. Thank you.
Thank you. Tremendous. We'll be right back after this short break to hear more about the Ag Lab. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
Welcome back to Armstrong School District's Education Today. we are joined again by Val Houston and Bill Shaw to talk about the Ag Lab. And during this session, we have Pennsylvania Ag Lab's director on the line, Tanya Weevil. Tanya, welcome to the program. Would you please tell us briefly about yourself?
Sure, it's great to be with you today. I was hired 5 years ago to start the Mobile Ag Ed Science Lab program. Prior to that, I was a third grade teacher for 6 years. And this has been a wonderful experience being able to start this program and share agriculture with the schools across the state.
Okay. Who do we get in touch with to book the Ag Lab for your school or function?
If someone's interested in scheduling the lab for a week, they would contact me either by phone or by email.
If someone wanted to sponsor a school to bring the Ag Lab for the students, how would they go about that and make a donation?
Sure. School visit sponsorships are a wonderful way for businesses, individuals to advertise their commodity, their business that they have, as well as to support education in their schools. If they're interested in doing that, donations would need to be made out to the Pennsylvania Friends of Ag AG Foundation and sent to our main office in Camp Hill. And when they would send that, they would want to make note of the particular school or particular county or school district that they wanted that sponsorship to go towards.
How long has the program been in effect and how did it get started?
This program started 5 years ago because our Farm Bureau members saw the need to increase student awareness of how agriculture impacts them on a daily basis. What our members did was they went and asked elementary, middle school students, where does your food come from? And the answers we got were the grocery food stores and fast food restaurants, and not the farms. And what we found surprising was we anticipated we might get these responses in the urban areas of Pennsylvania. We didn't anticipate the large number of those exact responses we got in rural parts of Pennsylvania. So our members really saw a need to reach students at a young age and let them know how agriculture is important to them in their lives. And based on those members' determination, we started the program 5 years ago and now have 3 labs across the state of Pennsylvania.
I understand that there are just a few Ag Labs that are shared across the entire state of Pennsylvania. What's the story of how it came to Armstrong County?
Yes. Presently we have 3 labs across the state and a 4th lab for Armstrong County and the surrounding areas of western Pennsylvania is in the process of being constructed right now. So we will have that for the 2008-2009 school year. And what has happened is, as the interest of the lab grows, members in different parts of the state have worked to raise the funds to purchase the additional labs. And the way we're coming to Armstrong County is through the efforts of our Farm Bureau members in Armstrong County and the surrounding counties, like Val and Bill, who saw the need to bring agriculture education to their schools, and through their dedication and efforts were able to raise the necessary funds for us to be able to purchase a 4th lab to bring it to your schools.
What are some success stories of the Ag Lab that you've seen?
One of the success stories would be just the sheer numbers. This school year alone, we're going to reach over 64,000 students in Pennsylvania, teaching them about agriculture and how it impacts their lives. And in just 5 years, we will have reached over 181,000 students. But the real success comes from the reactions of the students, the schools, and the parents. One of my favorite things when teaching in the lab is to hear students say, science is fun, or I didn't know this came from agriculture, and really starting to make that connection. When the parents come in, and we have parents that come in as volunteers, oftentimes I'm greeted by the parents saying, I can't wait to see what you do in here. My student came home yesterday. They were so excited, told me all about the experiment that they had done, and normally it's like pulling teeth to get our students to share. So seeing that their excitement in the lab is taken home to the parents is another great successful thing. And then from the teachers themselves that are at the schools, a lot of times they'll comment, this is the way science should be taught. If we had the resources, if we could do this every day, this would be wonderful. So knowing that we're meeting the needs of the schools as well as the needs of the students and parents to be educated about agriculture is what I feel is our big success.
Yes. Why is agriculture education important and especially relevant in today's economy?
Agriculture is Pennsylvania's #1 industry, and it's the #1 industry in the United States. And as far as United States economy, right now, agricultural exports alone are generating over $56 billion worth of revenue each year. And because we produce enough to export as well as feed our population within our country, we have the most economic food supply in the entire world. Right now, on average, Americans only spend 10% of their income for the food they consume. And that's in comparison to some countries that are spending over 50% of their income for the food they consume because they don't have a strong agricultural background within their country, and they're having to rely on imports and therefore can't control the price of their food. So it plays a really big part in the total economic picture of the United States.
Also, the importance of agricultural education is to have the children be aware for when they become older to have a safe, secure, and sustainable food supply from producer to the consumer so that they can be educated, alert consumers when they purchase the food products or products that they desire for their livelihoods.
What are some recent trends affecting the status of agriculture in Pennsylvania?
There's a lot of different issues and trends facing agriculture, and it changes almost daily. One of the big areas is the economics of farming. One of the positive things recently is we have seen in many commodities an increase in what farmers are receiving, and this is kind of helping them to catch up for a lot of years of losses where what was coming back to the farmer really was not what it should have been. And consumer demand around the world is what's driving, and ensuring that farmers are receiving what they should be receiving for their commodities. On the other aspect, the prices for farmers are increasing as well. Energy being one of those, the energy costs, whether it's from the fertilizer that's made from natural gas or the fuels that the farmers use in order to, power their vehicles to do the work they do on the farm. But one great thing is in Pennsylvania, we have the opportunity within agriculture and our makeup of the types of agriculture we have to be a part of the energy solution. Our Farm Bureau members and staff are working in both Washington and Harrisburg towards finding a way to make Pennsylvania farmers part of that solution, whether it's through biodiesel, whether it's through ethanol production, or even the cellulose and other aspects they're looking into. So while the energy is an issue, we also think that we, as Pennsylvania farmers, have an opportunity to be part of that solution. Another big issue facing our farmers today is where our next generation of farmers are going to come from, making sure that we have those farmers in the next generation to be producing the agricultural products that we're producing today.
Some of the recent trends that affect agriculture in Pennsylvania also are the development of home sites or businesses, shopping malls, things of that nature that take farmland out of production, and it helps to drive up the prices that people think are related to the agricultural production of the food product that they purchase. With farmland preservation in Pennsylvania being a priority, many farms that are high in the priority of their sustainability of producing crops are being preserved. This past year, Armstrong County was with the first farm preserved in the farmland preservation program, and we're very excited that that event took place through the Armstrong County Farm Bureau helping to promote that here in our county.
What is the status of agriculture in Armstrong County?
I can give you some numbers on Armstrong County, but then I would refer back to Bill or Val as they live there. Just in general, in Armstrong County, there's approximately 700 farms. Although half of those, the owner also has other employment, which is a common trend across the state of Pennsylvania as well. Most of the farms in Armstrong County are dairy farms. And based on the last census, which was 5 years ago, over $40 million of agricultural produce was produced within Armstrong County. And they have over 130,000 acres. And their big potential is the potential of producing like the feedstock and possibly contributing to the energy solution by growing those grains that might be a part of that. Bill, Val, do you have anything else with living there that you see as the status within your county?
Yes, we do. Creekside Mushrooms is the world's largest underground producer of mushrooms, and we're very proud that Roger Claypool has kept that business going in our county. Aside from that, there are orchards that produce fruits and vegetables in our county. We have small niche industries like wineries that are starting up. As you mentioned, there are dairy farms, and we can't forget the forestry industry as well that exists in Armstrong County. Many of the trees are used not only for furniture, but much of it is exported that is of a high quality, like the veneer types of woods. There are many, we'll call them small cottage type businesses that have a person working away from the farm to help support the farm that help to add to the agricultural economy of our region.
What are some agriculture-related jobs students may consider, and what career pathways would they follow to get there?
Many people, when they hear agriculture and jobs in agriculture, think strictly of the production end of agriculture. But there's so many other career fields that both impact the quality of agriculture or are impacted by agriculture. Pretty much any field you think of, there are ties back to agriculture. Science, technology, engineering, research, writing, even sports have a tie back to agriculture. Turf management is a big career that has seen huge increases in the last years. Oftentimes we go to a baseball game or a football game and don't give any thought to the turf that they're playing on. But that's a science, it's a career that links back to agriculture and growing, the best turf for a different sport. So there's a lot of different areas. The best thing would be, if you're interested in a career, to do research, see what educational pathways lead there. Some are more science-based, some are more math-based, some are more research-based. So figuring out what you're interested in and doing the research to select those classes that might prepare you to go on to college or a technical school to focus in those areas.
As Tanya mentioned, here in our county, we have the Lenape Vo-Tech, as well as other counties have their Vo-Tech schools where the students can select a career opportunity, perhaps by being a part of the environmental resource curriculum, the various sciences, businesses, or food service or food prep courses. All of these are related in some way to agriculture.
Thank you. Tremendous. Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank you all for being on the program and for giving us all a good look at agriculture, education, and the PA Farm Bureau's Mobile Ag Lab. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.